Russia has been ignoring a ceasefire proposal for 100 days. Kremlin makes new statement on possible Putin meeting with Zelenskyy and Trump and how drones strike Russian Volgograd, paralyzing airport traffic. The latest news next. Ukrainian Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha, following statements by Kremlin dictator Vladimir Putin about his alleged readiness for negotiations and the desire to end the war, recalled that Russia has been ignoring the U.S. proposal for a 30-day ceasefire for 100 days, reported by Sybiha on X.
It has been exactly 100 days since Ukraine unconditionally accepted the U.S. peace proposal to completely ceasefire, put an end to the killing, and move forward with a genuine peace process. It has been exactly 100 days since Russia has been rejecting this basic first step toward peace.
He recalled that Russia has continued to exploit and intensify terror against Ukraine throughout this 100-day period. Ukraine remains committed to peace. Unfortunately, Russia continues to choose war, disregarding U.S. efforts to end the killing, Sybiha said. He stressed that only peace through force, which includes strengthening sanctions and expanding opportunities for Ukraine, can put an end to Russian aggression. For 100 days, Ukraine has kept its word, ready to silence the guns, to bury the grief, to talk peace honestly. And for 100 days, Putin has laughed in the world's face while butchering children in their beds. He is not a leader. He is a sadist in a suit, feeding on terror because he fears a Ukraine that lives free. Every fake proposal, every cynical lie from the Kremlin is just cover fire for more missile launches, more shattered hospitals, more mass graves disguised as negotiations. Let's say it plainly. Putin wants blood, not peace. He wants the free world exhausted, divided, distracted, while he gorges on new territory and old Soviet fantasies. He must be stopped, not with polite statements, but with steel, crushing sanctions, relentless weapons for Ukraine, and an iron promise that no tyrant gets to decide when we live or die. The Kremlin claims that there is a possibility of a meeting between Russian dictator Vladimir Putin and Presidents Volodymyr Zelenskyy and Donald Trump. However, Moscow has set conditions. The Russian news agency TASS reports, citing presidential press secretary Dmitry Peskov. Peskov stated that a meeting between Putin, Trump, and Zelenskyy must be the result of prolonged work and already prepared points. The Kremlin also claims that Moscow hopes to reach a third round of negotiations with Ukraine. As Peskov emphasized regarding preparations for conflict resolution, there is still serious work to be done, and Ukraine must understand that the situation has changed compared to 3 years ago. Spare us the Kremlin's cheap theater. While Russian bombs keep shredding homes and futures, they dare to fantasize about photo ops and stage-managed rounds of talk under their terms of course. Enough illusions. Nobody sane believes a word from Peskov's mouth. Putin doesn't want a deal. He wants surrender dressed up as diplomacy. So here's the truth. Real peace will come only when Ukraine stands unbroken and Moscow crawls back behind its own borders, not when Russian spin doctors draft conditions for show meetings. No more Kremlin fairy tales. The only negotiation worth trusting is the one backed by power, weapons, and iron Western unity. About prospect of a Trump-Putin meeting. Earlier, US President Donald Trump said he might fly to Turkey, where Ukrainian and Russian delegations met on May 16th, if it is appropriate. However, this did not happen. Later, Trump said he would meet with Putin as soon as such a meeting could be arranged. Recently, the Kremlin stated that Russian dictator Vladimir Putin is in principle in favor of meetings with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy and US President Donald Trump. However, Moscow wants the meeting to take place only if direct negotiations between Russian and Ukrainian delegations yield results. The day before, Putin said he was ready to meet with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy, but not to sign any documents. Russian dictator Vladimir Putin has attempted to justify large-scale missile strikes on Ukrainian cities by claiming that the targets were defense industry facilities, reported by terrorist Putin during a meeting with representatives of global news agencies, as reported by RIA Novosti, a Kremlin-aligned Russian news agency. During the meeting with foreign journalists, Putin was asked about the numerous Russian strikes on civilian infrastructure in Ukraine, including residential buildings that have caused civilian death. Responding to the question with a smile, Putin said,
"If your journalists had seen entire residential areas destroyed by our missiles, they would hardly be able to tell you anything about it."
Meanwhile, he again claimed that the Russians were striking defense industry facilities and not residential areas. According to terrorist and dictator Putin, Russia is demilitarizing Ukraine and he is depriving Ukraine of the possibility of having armed forces that pose a threat to Russia by conducting missile strikes. He's a shameless liar, a butcher in a suit, grinning while neighborhoods burn. Every word he spits drips with contempt for truth and human life. He bombs playgrounds, civilian buildings, and calls them defense targets. Enough. The world must stop pretending he is anything but a cowardly terrorist in charge of a raw state. No mercy for his deceit. Russians complained about a drone attack in Volgograd on June 19th. The attack paralyzed the operation of the local airport, according to local Telegram channels. The governor of the Volgograd region, Andrei Bocharov, stated that Russian forces allegedly repelled a massive attack in the Kalichovsky and Gorodishensky districts and in the southern part of Volgograd. According to him, supposedly, there were no casualties or damage. The attack paralyzed the operations of the airports in Volgograd and Kaluga. Temporary flight restrictions were introduced at night. The Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation claims that last night they allegedly shot down 81 Ukrainian drones, 19 over the territory of Bryansk region, 17 over Kursk region. The Minister of Defense of the Russian Federation claims that last night they allegedly shot down 81 Ukrainian drones, 19 over the territory of Bryansk region, 17 over Kursk, 13 over Smolensk, 7 over Volgograd, 6 over Oryol, 5 over Rostov, 5 over the temporarily occupied Crimea, 3 each over Belgorod and Astrakhan regions, 2 over Ryazan region, and 1 over the Moscow region. That's all for today. Thanks for watching this video. Support Ukraine, like and subscribe.